Okay, so somebody requested to see my mastery setup, so here it is. Nothing special offensively other than on the right I put one each for despair, unfazed, and deep wounds, and I also have 3 in assassin, which I considered maxing out. I also considered unlocking and maxing out half of the suicide masteries, including glass cannon, and that was particularly for arena grinding. I recently went for Mortal in the arena, and I came up probably less than 100k short in points, you know, so if I would have had those extra PI, then I could have gotten him with the same amount of fights. But oh well, I'm gonna open up some crystals and hope that I get him. If not, then I'll just grind for him and get him in the second round. Most likely he's not going to be as high. Anyways, the reason that I don't want to do that method is because to change it and then change it back is going to cost me about 80 units each time, and I'd rather put those units in Alliance Quest. Alliance Quest and Alliance War, that's where I'm using all my units currently, and that goes for the reason that I don't want to, or I haven't maxed out Assassin as well, is just because I'm using those units elsewhere, and I'm actually not sure where to pull the extra points from. So over here defensively, you see I have Salve maxed out, which, you know, most people don't, and I also have recovery maxed out, and I thought about taking 2 points off, which would drop this down to, I guess, I'm not sure with recovery if that'd give me 1 point per tick or 2 points per tick, but with it maxed out I get 5 points, and you know, it might not seem like a lot, but if you're doing like Alliance Quest and you're using the same champ, say for 6 fights, and you don't have that champ's health maxed out, and your fights go longer than a minute, you know, over 10 fights you're gonna recover 6k health, which is the same price, or which is the same amount as a level 4 health potion. So that's the way I look at it, and that's why I keep it there. Also have willpower still maxed out. I thought about bringing it down to 1 because it, you know, it's the difference between, it's a 2.2% difference, but I don't know, I feel like that can make a difference as well in the fight. And I have only 1 point in Coagulate, which I wouldn't mind maxing out. You know, I was debating between whether or not I should, you know, drop this down to 1 point and then max out Coagulate, which reduces the bleed effect by 30%. And I feel like that's the one that I get hit the hardest with, is bleeds, you know, from X23. More recently it's been Archangel. You know, every now and then I get caught by him, and he has a long bleed. Then over here in utilities, this is the only mastery that I ever change, and only time I change it is when I'm facing magic and Alliance Quest. I end up maxing out Petrify, which is a 30, let's see, reduces health and power gain by 30% when the opponent is stunned, and wait, was it the stun, right? Yes, when the opponent is stunned. And then I max out Pacify, which reduces ability accuracy by 30% when it's maxed out. So what I do is I stun magic, and then I do like two or three hits, and then stun her, do like 2 or 3 hits. So not only is she not gaining as much power, which she's on a plus 50% power gain node, but also it reduces her chance of triggering limbo, and that's the big thing. I don't care about the power, it's the limbo that kills me, because even though her first limbo is supposed to trigger at probably like 50%, it's more like 90% chance for it to trigger. I think that's something that Kabam should look into, should fix. Either that or reduce the effect of her limbo, because it's you know, ridiculous. I think on day 5 she does like 300 or 400, between 300 and 400 damage per tick, and your champ just like dies so fast. And I also have Mystic Dispersion maxed out, which really comes in handy. I use a lot of Mystic champs, you know. I use Ghost Rider a lot. I used to use Doctor Strange a lot, but not so much. Use Magic every now and then. Really, it's mainly Ghost Rider for me. I've been actually using him all the time in Alliance War, and when I'm not using him in War, then I use him in Alliance Quest. And the final thing over here is I have Detect Science, which is mainly for Alliance War. And I guess for those, you know, for those fights I don't use Ghost Rider. I used to use Black Widow, but since she was nerfed, I don't bring her in Alliance War anymore. I've been using Agent Venom recently, and he does reduce evade, so he's still good to use against Spider-Man. And see, I have Limber maxed out, reduce the stun effect by 48%, and 1 point to dexterity. I know some people max this out, but I don't have a use for it maxed out. And 2 points for parry, which I would actually max this out, but it's only a 0.3 difference in stun, so you know, not all that important. And Stupefy, I think this is more important to have maxed out than parry, because this applies to all stuns and just gives you additional 0.5 seconds, which doesn't seem like much, but it does make a difference. You know, especially if somebody has Limber maxed out, and you don't have is it Petrify? No. Stupefy. If you don't have that maxed out, then you most likely won't have enough time to hit the person after you land a stun, and that's what I was finding a lot in Arena when I would fight people before I decided to max out Stupefy. Is we would just go back and forth, stunning each other, parrying each other, and then I started fighting people that had Limber maxed out, and I didn't, so I would parry and then attack, and I would get parried, and then I wouldn't be able to recover before they started landing a combo. So that's why I ended up maxing out Limber. Anyways guys, sorry for rambling on for so long. Take care, and as always, thanks for watching.